A very warm welcome to each one of you on our 14th episode of Nature's Orbit Torchlight series. It is our utmost pleasure and honor to have with us Ms Jagrity Phukan, a woman who is committed to design a new way of living for the betterment of the planet. Hailing from Assam, she holds a bachelor's degree in design from NIFT Delhi and is founder and creative head of Living Studio LLP, with close to 10 years of rich experience in the design, textile, and clothing industry. Way of Living Studio LLP is a holistic design, research, and innovation space based in the foothills of eastern Himalayas. A futuristic think tank and advocate of eco living and sustainable design practices using design and system thinking as a tool. Jagrity Phukan is a design entrepreneur pursuing social design as a tool for sustainability and climate resilience. In collaboration with tribal artisans in interior areas of Assam, Northeast India, through curiosity, compassion as a tool for constant learning. A very warm welcome to you, Jagrity ji. It's wonderful to have you here, and thank you so much for taking out your time for us.
Thank you so much, Aditya ji. It's an honor and it's an opportunity for me to represent our artisans in this platform and share our story with all of you.
Oh, superb. Thank you. It's our pleasure as well. And firstly, we want to ask you, you have keen attention to detail in your work. So please let us know what is the importance of being engagingly curious and inspecting versus expecting.
I think curiosity is a tool. As human, any perspective we perceive is based on the information we have. So curiosity helps us go deep through that window of human mind. It is one of the strongest tools to shape, whatever we are seeing, whatever we are experiencing with all our senses. So, to develop independent thinking, so we must question what is around us instead of accepting what is already there. We should always ask why, what, why, how, so that we can have answers, instead of perceiving what is already being thrown as biases and conditioning towards us. So I think that's why curiosity had been a very important tool for me while we design in Way of Living Studio, because curiosity opens up that window of questioning, and as designers, whatever we create is result of whatever experiences we go through. So curiosity helps us to achieve and question, achieve, and design for a better world.
Wow. So I guess the youth can really get this message that, curiosity is very important. You need to be curious, engagingly curious. So that's great.
Yes.
Thank you. And what is the difference you want to make to the fashion industry in terms of combating carbon footprint and climate change? And what are your aspirations?
See, I think most of us, we are aware about the current scenario of the fashion industry. Fashion industry is the second most largest polluting industry in the world. As youth, we tend to get engaged in a lot of shopping activities. Every weekend, all the fast fashion brands are dropping their new collection, and we want to look fashionable and so that so the thing is that we are not even questioning from where these garments are coming and how the production cycle is. As a consumer, what we are doing, all we want to do is look stylish and new and brand new and go with the trends and make a statement. So I think what our aspiration in Way of Living Studio is that instead of taking the traditional route of buying fast fashion and all of that, we tried and we decided we are going to work at the grassroots. I think personally, I came from a family where we still have our own Muga silk farm, and eri silk cocoon cultivation had been a traditional practice. So, since I had grown up seeing all of that, so I had the idea, why not I come back and I work with the indigenous communities around here in Dhemazi, Assam, and make our use of the best of the natural resources we have and do something about the climate action and reduce carbon footprint while creating it, because we have this beautiful indigenous traditional textile techniques and we have beautiful so many different natural plants and dyes which we could use to dye our fiber, So basically we had everything in as a tradition. The economy used to be quite self-sufficient when I read our history of Ahom dynasty. So what we are taking a plunge into is that we're trying to design a production cycle where the carbon footprint, I won't say it's zero, but we are still trying to co-create with nature and indigenous community and taking the ancestral wisdom to the contemporary world in a new platter. Yes, and also, what we're doing, like currently we are working in an area where there have been periodic floods and their livelihoods are affected through that. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to do the eri silk cultivation, because from the seed, the eri plant era castor takes 40 days to grow and have the leaves, and then the eri silkworm on an average takes 15 to 30 days. If I even precisely, it would be like 28 days the cocoon takes to grow. So basically, if I count, it's a matter of 2 months their livelihoods are restored after the flood. So that is how we are trying to co-create, taking inspiration for whatever traditional heritage of eri silk spinning we had. So that is like small things we are trying to put together and trying to make a difference in the industry.
Yeah, applaud you for your efforts and attempt, and also the efforts you're making for empowering people, empowering the and the impact that you want to create. I really applaud you for that. Thank you.
It's not only me; it's also our entire team of weavers, women weavers, who we work with very closely.
Yes, like women empowerment is also, like, I can see that. Yeah, that's you're committed for that. So really great. And can you share with us more about your experience as a designer in the fashion industry?
Like my personal journey started with studying in NIFT Delhi. I was in fashion design department and I was learning how to make garments, how to stitch garments. So that is how it started. But I tried to perceive design not only as a tool to make a product, but also I tried to see the systems we are building around the product, the ecosystem around it. So for me, it has been like a great inspiration to see the framework of design and see how it is working for people or not. Sometimes when you see a product in a clothing rack in a high street store, you will only see the product and it's displayed well with a good lighting and AC, and you have like a good store experience. But we hardly pay attention to the cycle, who made your clothes and how it is made and in what environment it is made. So so my journey started with questioning things around me, and I was also questioning that is it the right way to do it, or it's the most appropriate, more efficient way to do it. So that's why I was like kind of, when after college I got placed and I joined a fast fashion clothing company. So I was trying to create, but I was not having that satisfaction which I was looking for, because in fast fashion industry you will see a lot of fabric wastage, because we see, as a layman, I maybe the youth, they don't really put so much thought about how the cloth is made. But if you see like a t-shirt, there's going to be armhole in round shape, so that round piece of fabric gets wasted and it goes to the landfill. So it takes a lot of time, and think about 1 lakhs and lakhs pieces of one t-shirt. So it goes to the landfill, and it creates pollution. And while dyeing the fabric also with chemical dyes, it pollutes our rivers. And the most important part of the cycle was the creators, the artisans, the tailors, the printers behind it. Maybe somebody would label them as laborers, the industry laborers, but the artisans are backbone of the industry, and which when I get to see the state of that situation, and I couldn't really convince myself to sit in a AC room and design in a big Apple screen, creating beautiful designs. Because the beauty is not only about what you see in the screen. It has to make, for me, I was trying to, that's why I try to find answers around it. So, the real beauty will come as if we see like a holistic system, not only as a product. So that's why I have started questioning, and I travel and interacted, and so I decided, no, since I'm questioning, I am also responsible to share the answer with the world in a manner where people can relate to. So right now, that's why what we are doing in Way of Living Studio, and some more details also we'll share very soon, like I answered in the previous question. So that is how my journey started, and by the time I was working in the industry, it helped me shape up who I am, also who Way of Living Studio is today, because we decided not to compromise on people's living conditions, people's working conditions, just to make more amount of money as an organization. We are here to centric design, but also for the makers. It needs to work both the ways. So that is how we are trying to do.
That's great. Like I can just say in one line, you dare to question and you're ready to answer also.
Yes, I mean, we are still finding the answers, but thank you, Nature Soviet, for giving us a platform so that I can be the voice of our team and share our story with all of you today.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. That's it's very inspiring to see that you keep saying that you're questioning the system and how you can make it better, but you're also willing to be responsible for that. And responsibility is not some kind of blame or something. It's like being responsible and standing for the people. That's excellent. Your stand you're taking is fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they say, with great responsibility comes great power. So we are not there yet, but we are still, trying to be responsible, at least do something about it instead of doing nothing and, living like a headless human being. Yes.
Exactly. So coming to one more point about what is your endeavor to reduce carbon footprint or impact climate change? What kind of endeavor? Have you done any academic endeavor or professional endeavor to do that?
See, we are already sharing, about what currently I'll share the story what we are currently doing in Way of Living Studio. I have already shared about that flood affected areas where we are working with indigenous traditional missing community of Assam, and we are trying to develop a system where we grow our own eragos, castor plants, and we grow our own cocoons. We're trying to do hand spinning, the traditional way of making yarn, like Gandhiji always wanted us to do, because he understood the deeper meaning back then. So the process involves also natural dyeing, and it's woven in a loom which is made with wood and bamboo. So it's our traditional design. So that is what we're trying to do. Also, at the same time, we're currently exploring the possibility of geographical indication registration for the traditional designs we have of the missing community, because those are very beautiful designs. Actually, missing means river people. So they live in slit houses around Brahmaputra, on the banks of the river, and so they have a lot of stories also around the motifs they have. So there's one motif which is called mosak. Mosak means spider. There's another motif which are tiny triangle repetition kind of a pattern, which they say it's interpretation of fish scales. So then they have some other motif which is inspired from nature. So basically, the symbolism, the meaning, that had been created over generations and generations, at a tradition which is passed on from grandmother to granddaughters, in families. So that stories also we are trying to carry in front of to a bigger audience. So we're trying exploring that possibility as well, and trying to build a system where artisans are they are the own owner of the company. So right now, Way of Living Studio LLP, that is the think tank, and we are trying to do another producer company for the artisans where they own their own company. They are not laborers. They are artisans. They create beautiful artistic expression from whatever they have learned from their grandmothers, which is passed from generations. So we're trying to do a producer company. They are the owners, and their Way of Living Studio is just a bridge to fill the gap so that they have the exposure to the outer world, what is relevant for the market, and to help them and guide them and to market them in the outside world. So this kind of small steps we are doing, and we are not there yet. We are work in progress. But, and while doing that, I see a lot of, we have to address a lot of issues as well, because we work with women weavers. So there's so many aspects also when we talk about women in the society, because the tribe had been very patriarchal in a manner. So sometimes I see a lot of domestic violence and some kind of gender discrimination. There's one story which was shared by one of my weaver. She wanted to buy a piece of land, and the mandal from the office, he said you cannot buy in your name because you're a woman. You have to buy it in your husband's name. Then when I came to know about the story, I'm like, let's go and let's talk about it. It's her right. She's working so hard day and night, trying to save some money and trying to buy a little piece of land for herself, so that she can be independent and she doesn't have to tolerate the violence which is happening family and that is also, she's not allowed to do that also, right? So the Way of Living Studio aspires to be the voices of those women and using textile as a tool to change whatever happening in the society which is not fairly right for everyone. So that is just maybe the small case I have shared today. Is so many things like that happening here. So we are every day we are fighting. We are still not there yet, and I don't know where. And maybe I hope maybe 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line I'll be able to say we are somewhere there. I really aspire that, but the list of aspiration is very long. So yeah, so we are work in progress.
Superb. And as you said, that using textile as a tool to bring a voice to the community, to the women, right? That's you are committed to do that, right? That's very inspiring. And a lot of people, there are very few people who do that. Use their expertise to bring the best out of the communities and to uplift the communities. And that was very well explained in detail regarding that. And you keep saying that you're not there yet. So that's very humble of you. So I mean, it shows how much more you're aspiring to make a difference and to create an impact. So that's very inspiring. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. All credit goes to me and our beautiful team. I mean, not me actually. It's not me. It's the entire team, which is very committed of what we do.
Yeah, it's a complete teamwork. It's like a family.
Yes, I mean, if she can share that, like the story I shared, if she can share that kind of stories to me, definitely we are family and we'll keep trying to do better for each other.
And I like the part what you said about giving ownership to everyone. Like they own it. It's not that they're just like working or something. They own it. So that's
yes.
That's like making them responsible and creating leaders.
Yes.
So any young person, youth who wants to start up a company can get inspiration from that and create leaders in his organization or her organization, and empower and uplift the communities empower the communities to become leaders. I mean, that's awesome.
Yes, I mean, what I feel, I strongly feel that you always have the opportunity to either to create a bonsai or to create a big tree from where it will grow naturally, and there will so many fruits and people can starve their hunger. So you always have a choice for your life. I know, like, my journey also not have been that smooth. Still figuring out, still learning every day, still waking up to fight another day and sleeping to end it on a good note. That okay, something I did today which is meaningful and purposeful for not only for me but also people around us. So yeah.
Sure, sure. Awesome. Yeah. You have a lot of hobbies and interests. Like, can you tell us more about that?
See, it's like there was a very viral Instagram reel, no, where they say, I have so many hobbies. So I am also that kind of a person. I define myself to be jack of all and master of none. So I love to explore things, and I'm like a very curious person in general. So, but then still I would love to mention few of it. Like, I love folk music. I love enjoy new culture, food. I think I would love to mention about the most interesting hobby I have is which is gardening, or also which is now I'm trying to expanding into farming also. Before it used to be like a tiny piece of land, which is gardening. Now I'm trying to go big as a farm, because I feel very responsible to grow whatever we eat by ourselves. That is very important part of the cycle, I feel. But still, not yet I'm able to be very self-sufficient about it. But at least I make sure I grow some seasonal vegetables, which I can eat. For winter is amazing. During winters we have like a lot of vegetables. Some in summers also. But then I also try to curate tiny menus out of some, like we had like a big bush of tulsi. So what I did that, like, I chopped them and I dried them. Now I'm making tulsi tea out of it. So things like that, like we have a passion fruit tree, so I try to make juice. So if I'm growing marigold flowers during winter, so I try to dry the petals, and which later either we use it for tea or we either use it to dye our yarns, which gives a beautiful yellow color. So I think in short, if I have to define, I love to be connected with Mother Earth, and that's what gives me a lot of pleasure.
Yeah, get connected to nature through gardening, as you mentioned,
Yes.
and actually that there I can see your attention to detail, because that's what it requires. You need to dig in deep. If I have to literally put it, dig deep into the soil for gardening, right? So I mean, that's where I guess your attention to detail is coming from. Very interesting to know that. And the next thing I wanted to ask is, out of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, which of these are you most aligned with, and why?
I think all of them are really, really important. You cannot ignore one and choose another. But still, since I'm currently working with that project I have mentioned earlier, so I think I really connect with SDG 5, which is gender equality, because we were closely working with women. I have shared a story about what is happening and how we are trying to fight it. Then second is SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth, because through this, whatever we are doing, we're trying to create economic opportunities for these indigenous communities who has beautiful, amazing, interesting natural resources and way of using it and way of living. So they just don't know how to make use of it and sell it and make living out of it. So that's one. Then SDG 12, which is responsible consumption and production, which is like the main SDG we relate to as an organization and the current project we are working on, because since I have worked in the fashion industry and I've already shared the story of the pollution and all these incidents of not getting fair wages for the workers and for the artisans, which are who are the backbone of the industry. So we're trying to create meaning through our work and create something very purposeful out of it, where we could design a system, a supply chain which is circular in nature, not linear, and trying to use the traditional indigenous knowledge, local materials, and trying to build a supply chain where we are very responsible and very conscious. Also, trying to create awareness about consumption as well. So what we are trying to do is like we are working on some concept where we create zero waste clothing, because I feel waste is a design flaw. If I create something, I'm making a t-shirt and I'm throwing some piece of fabric, then even if I'm recycling, that is another more time to reduce and recycle and put it back in the loop. So that's what we should start right away. That is what I feel for us here. We should start away while designing. Also, designers should keep in mind about this responsible consumption and production. SDG 13, which is climate action, we have already discussed about it throughout the session, that how our work is very much related to climate, and how we are trying to fight it and do our bit, because it is the only art is the only home we have, and we must preserve it for our next generation. Like they say, you borrow it from your own children. Okay. When you're living here, the life you borrow from your own children. So that is there. And SDG 15, life on land. We work very closely with agriculture, because clothing always had been either byproduct of food or energy. So like I shared about the Eri silk story, Eri silk worms are very popular ethnic food here among the tribes. So that is so life on earth, we try to be very interdependent and coexist together with nature, so that we can co-create with whatever we have in our hand. So that's why life on land is very important SDG for us. And then, of course, SDG 17, partnership. We cannot make a change happen alone. We can only do it together, and everyone is important, and everybody is equally part of it.
Wow. I mean, what you have shared is almost all the SDGs that you're aligned with. And it's an honor to know that you are really working towards that. And, you explained so much in detail about how you're aligned with it. People listening to this, what you have answered just now, they will get to know about the, sustainable development goals very well. You put it aptly, everything is, just the perfect way and very easy to understand. And of course, the highlight being responsible consumption and production. I think that's what you're really standing for. And I really feel that, I really wish you the best for actually, taking that forward and making an impact there. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And what you want to know is what is the message you want to give to the youth regarding climate action, sustainability, and what are the consequences? If we don't take climate action, what are the consequences?
Like I shared before, you do not borrow it, you do not use whatever you inherited from your ancestors, you borrow it from your children. So just think about it when you are going to be around your 50s or 60s, you're just borrowing the piece of oxygen. Yeah, I'm saying piece of oxygen though. I mean, whatever, like I'm just trying to define whatever resources we have, like a piece. So whatever we are using, we are borrowing from our children, because it's them who wanna live longer. Like we say, and our youth is the future. Children are the future. So I think we should be very conscious about what we do, and we should use our mind to question ourselves what we are doing, why we are doing. Why we are doing. Yes. So, and find your own answers, and be conscious and responsible about the life we have on Earth, so that because Earth is our only home.
Art is our only home.
Yes.
Art is where the heart is.
Yes, definitely. Art is where the life is.
The life is. Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. So, what's your vision for the future?
The future vision, Way of Living Studio should become a space for everybody and anybody and everybody who is very keen in thinking independently and share their perspective about bigger think tank. Develop Way of Living Studio as a think tank who would have the power or strength or courage, but also work towards its action and impact. So Way of Living Studio should become like the think tank. That is the plan for the organization. And for us, by us means me and all our stakeholder, we want to live a very simple life with using curiosity, compassion as a tool for constant learning. And and then that is how we'll keep going. That is the plan for now.
Yeah, I got it. So superb. And so in a nutshell, I can say, what we got from this wonderful conversation we had with you today is that, design a way of living that would be sustainable and empowering.
Yes, I'm very particular about using the word sustainable because sustainability has so many different interpretations. But maybe you could say currently we are focusing very much into eco design because I don't even know, we are still exploring sustainability. See, like you can say bamboo is sustainable, and then you can maybe make a roof out of bamboo. But then if I compare it with a steel roof is going to last longer. So it's about perspective. So I would like to mention more like in a way our work is more about eco design than using the word sustainability. Yes.
Okay. Eco design, a new way of living. Can I say it like that?
Yes.
Eco design, a new way of living.
Way of Living Studio. The acronym of Way of Living Studio is SLOW. So it's slow way of living.
Slower way of living. Yeah, that can be the mantra. So and of course, as they say, right, slow and steady wins the race.
Let's see how far we go and if we win or not. But all I know is even if we are half thrown up, at least that is going to be something which is meaningful and purposeful.
Like win the race for the circular economy. To achieve a circular economy, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like we're trying to achieve something which is actually good, not only for me myself, but for you as us.
Yes, exactly. Superb. Yeah, you as us. Yes, superb. Jagrity ji, thank you so much for your time today. It was an immense honor and privilege to have you here with us in our 14th episode of the Nature's Orbit Torchlight series. And we wish you all the best for your future endeavors and your goals and the solutions you're providing through eco design. And we really enjoyed having you here and giving your time. Thank you so much.
Same here. And thank you so much for giving us a platform to share our voices. And I hope it's heard and it's taken forward by whoever out there. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, sure. And thank you so much for the inputs you have given. And I'm sure the youth of the world globally will listen to this and really take the inputs very well to take things forward in the journey for climate action and climate change. Thank you.
Thank you.